Welcome back to my financial literacy corner. So, one of the other reasons why I'm always talking about whether it's the institutional rails, what's going on state level, federal level, and the like, is because I'm looking at what they are looking at in regards to how things are being processed. So, if we're paying attention to the new payment rails, what the institutions are investing in, how they're getting ready to utilize said products and what methods that they would do, that's the reason why I'm focused on that and why I share that information with you. And for those that do watch, I really do appreciate it. And also for all the new subscribers and and everyone else that's came along, thank you so much. Like, I salute you and I appreciate you for that. But to pay attention to that is where your longevity and to where your generational wealth is going to come in. It's not about quick money, not for me anyway. It's about, okay, what is this going to do within the next 5 to 10 years? And for each 5 year segment that I plan out or that I structureize myself, I'm looking to see, okay, how long, what these assets are going to do at this point in time, and what's this time, since I have to state once again, they plan on having everybody into a digitized world by 2030. So if we're going to be in a digitized world by 2030, they're already tokenized in various different real world assets, a multitude of things right now already on the blockchain. It would be prevalent for us to invest in said assets now, as we speak, while things are prime, ready, and early, and also while the masses as a whole is not knowledgeable and known to said assets, except for the few that want to look into it, hear about it, that is actually inclined. Because I'm going to say this, and this is how I look at it. Those that are into crypto now are the new financial heads. Those that are into the new digital assets now are the ones that have a financial inclination to what's going on and is actually going to be situated and structured in the end. Whereas a bunch of people that are actively not wanting to pay attention, like being so distracted with so much other stuff, they gonna be stuck out. Like, it is what it is. Because they'd rather be distracted with a bunch of BS versus being like, let me look to see what all these are doing so that way I can get some money and I can make myself some money in the end. Because there's too much money out here to be made. The whole, oh, it's difficult to make money, that's a poor man's mindset. Especially in regards to when it comes to investing stuff. Man, there's so many things right now that you can invest in early before all this stuff kicks off, so that way you're well off later on down the line. And for any of the brothers that think like me, I want to be ahead. I'm not want to be behind. So let me look into these real world assets. Let me look into these security tokens. Let me look into these payment tokens. Let me look into these utility tokens. And let me see what tokens are going to be backed up with AI. Because most people tend to overlook this one thing. AI can't take your fiat currency. AI can't take your physical dollar bill when it comes to doing certain payments online and other stuff like that. And if you technically think about how your debit and credit works, it's just not tied to a token, but it's still digital. You still with digital dollars. Anytime you swipe that card, just like how I swipe my card and I use my Crow, same instance. So you got to think and be projected out in that way. In that instance, let me accumulate as much as I can now before the system is fully switched over to a point where my previous methods of accumulation are altered and I'm not able to. Especially if you're a brother that's on a little bit of the little bit of the lower end of things. Please excuse me for being tongue tied. hey, you better be taking $5 a week and investing it in crypto. And even if it's just $20 a month that you can invest, that's something versus nothing. It's my whole key point to you. Don't give the excuse to yourself, oh, I'm going to wait to this point. Oh, I'm going to wait to that point. Oh, no, I got so much other stuff on the mind. If you got so much other stuff on the mind to where you can't place money to invest in yourself, you thinking about the wrong thing, player. I'm going to tell you that right now. Or if you would rather think about using your vices versus investing in yourself, you got a problem, player. Or I'm gonna have to say it like this too. Or if you're out there chasing that hoo-ha walking around and it definitely ain't giving you a return on your investment, and that ain't telling you, hey, you need to invest over here or possibly do something in regards to that, wrong mindset, player. Seriously. And I'm gonna keep beating that in, and I'm gonna keep hitting home, so that way you brothers understand you gotta invest now versus later. Because the longer that you wait to invest, the shorter window that you're gonna have, and the less opportunity that you're actually gonna be able to make some flipping money. Because $50 to $100 now can net you $1,000 to $10,000 later on down the line, and that's just $50 to $100. Let's see what you can do with $5,000 or anything else within those metrics. Now, while stuff is pennies on a dollar, while you got companies like I said, like Grayscale, doing 125 million in one project, 22.26.5 million in another project. And I will give you guys these numbers later on down the line in a different video. I will go over like what Grayscale has, Franklin Templeton has, and a couple of other individuals, so that way y'all can see the scope and metrics of this, because it's huge. Because if within 20 projects they got billions already invested in it, and I mean they have billions invested in this stuff already, billions. So if they're already investing billions now, and most of this market cap is low, what do you think is going to happen to the market cap later on down the line? Like, seriously, what do you think is literally going to happen monetary wise? And then just like with a bunch of other services that these asset management groups and other stuff offer, they're going to be offering it to the masses. So wouldn't you rather be one of the individuals to where they don't have to offer you that service because you did your due diligence and already placed yourself in a position to have said assets, so you can be the one to distribute it out services later on down the line, especially after the legal and regulatory framework is set, so you can operate inside of that framework because you took the time to accumulate certain assets. So once you have a certain number of assets accumulated and you understand the framework of how things are done, well, and because these assets are going to go up in price. So that's why I said, like in my previous videos beforehand, man, you ain't got to buy that herb. You ain't got to buy that drink. You ain't got to try to chase after that hoo-ha. You ain't, a whole week, 2 weeks, a month. Get yourself that, even just that. And I know that's on the low end of things, because I know how some individuals are when it comes to life situations and the utilization of those vices in order to get themselves situated. I completely understand. Hence why I said the timelines that I said, so that way you can at least build up to a point, because then eventually you look at it and it's 3 months, 6 months, a whole year later on down the line, you ain't touched the vice at all. But the only thing of what you did was start investing more and more inside of your, and more inside of yourself and your assets. Excuse me, once again for getting tongue-tied. But you've invested much more. So now you have a higher return on what you've invested in yourself. versus the vices of what you've invested in, which is not giving you a return except for a monetary dopamine hit and to relieve you of certain situations for just that moment, but you go right back to facing that stuff yet again. Versus, like I said, investing in a couple of these digital assets and they frameworks which will exponentially give you a higher return on said investments later on down the line. That's all I'm saying to y'all. But anyway, I appreciate y'all coming to this financial literacy corner for me just to go ahead and give you a talk on the reason why I have my focus on certain assets, of the reason why I do. Because without regulatory compliance in regards to certain things, it ain't gonna go right. And notice to where now that we're closer to the Clarity Act being done along the lines of stable coins and those usage, notice how once again all these institutions are buying this stuff up left and right, even to where your states are kind of getting their reserves and figuring out what stable coins that they're going to be utilizing. Some have even created their own, and even your banks are starting to create their own as well too. So that's the reason why, like I said, I pay attention to what these institutions are doing, what assets that they're investing in, and not financial advice, but giving you literacy so you'll know potentially which ones to invest in yourself. Anyway, thanks for coming to this financial literacy corner. Take it easy.